Greetings, family, greetings. Welcome again to another Bible studies, where we teach the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, Jesus Christ being the chief cornerstone. We are Israel, the Lord's vineyard. My name is Brother Moses. We got Sister Kelly. We got Sister Shanique. We got Brother Damani with us today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please, family, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. And what the other thing that you say, so they can get notification? Press the notification bell. So if you can, do that so you can get notifications when another lesson is coming up.
Any subscribe that happened.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. Good. Today's lesson, the title is "The Lord is a Jealous Husband," or "A Jealous Husband Will Hurt You When You Cheat on Him." A jealous husband will hurt you when you cheat on him. And so, as always, we're going to start with the laws. As always, we're going to start with the laws. So, Sister Shanique, it's on you. When you're ready, you can go ahead.
All right, Exodus 20, verses 1 to 17. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Revelation 22, verses 14 and 15. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter into the gates into the city. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Ecclesiastes 12, verses 13 and 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
All right, brothers and sisters, family, again, welcome. Thank you. These are the laws that we read every time we come on the platform. These laws are commanded for us to keep. They are not done away with. Don't let no one tell you that you don't have to keep these laws. Anyone that is doing so, brothers and sisters, what they are doing, they are trying to rob you of your salvation. Because we going into the kingdom of God is predicating on us keeping God's laws. We always say, brothers and sisters, don't let no one steal your crown. We need that crown to be kings and queens. All right, again, with that being said, happy Sabbath, happy Shabbat to all the Sabbath keepers, to all the one that is joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, my name is Brother Moses. We are coming to you from Israel, the Lord's vineyard. And the title again today is A Jealous Husband Will Hurt You If You Cheat on Him. So, with that being said, this we're going to see fair use, as we always read. Anything that we use, copyright disclaimer, under section 107 for the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for the purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use, brothers and sisters. Anything that we use is not ours, fair use. This is the Zoom information. You can take a snapshot of it. Anyone that's interested, they can actually reach out to us. Take a snapshot. All right. Let's go. A jealous husband will hurt you if you cheat on him. I am a jealous God. We're going to start this out in the book of Exodus. And we always open with this. So we're going to go right back to it, brothers and sisters. Exodus chapter 20. And we're going to read verse 1 to verse 6. But we have to understand, brothers and sisters, we were put here by a creator. We have a creator that created us, and that creator don't want us serving no other gods. He don't want us prostituting ourselves with no other one but him. We are referred to as the wife, the church is the bride, and our creator is our husband. And our husband don't want a whorish woman. And it is common even among humans, animals. We are very protective of our own. So which man wants to have the woman running the streets, sleeping with other men? No man will want that. It's the same way with our God, our creator, brothers and sisters. He don't want us prostituting ourselves with other gods because he is our creator. He is our husband. So he wants us for himself. And the thing is with our God, he is not ashamed to say that he is jealous. There's no shame in his game. So when he hurts you, brothers and sisters, when he hurts us, we can't say he never told us. When he hurts us, we can't say we were never warned. He tells us he's jealous. So if he tells us he is jealous, he's a jealous man, we have to take that into consideration. If we cheat on him, he is most likely to hurt us. We have to take this in consideration. So let us start out this in the book of Exodus. Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 to verse 6. When you get it, you can go ahead.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
So brothers and sisters, here we have it, that our God, our creator, our husband, is telling us that he is a very jealous God. When we cheat on him, you know what he does? He hurt us by taking it out, and most of the time on our children and our children. And you see how far he goes back? Up until the 3rd and 4th generation, brothers and sisters. This man don't play. And he is not a toy, and he's not to be played with, and we have to understand this, right? Let's move on. Let's go to Exodus chapter 4. And we're going to read verse 21 to verse 28 in the NLT. I don't know if you have seen that. NLT. Exodus chapter 4, and we're going to read verse 21 to verse 28. Can you get it, my sister? It's on you.
And the Lord told Moses, when you arrive back in Egypt, go to Pharaoh and perform all the miracles I have empowered you to do. But I will harden his heart so he will refuse to let the people go. Then you will tell him, this is what the Lord says. Israel is my firstborn. I command you, let my son go, so he can worship me. But since you have refused, I will now kill your firstborn son.
So this is Christ sending Moses back to Egypt to come in the presence of Pharaoh. Remember, Moses left Egypt. Now Christ is sending him back and telling him to tell Pharaoh, listen, Israel is my firstborn, even my son. And if you don't let them go so they can come and serve me, I'm going to take yours from you, right? But he said, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart that he will not let them go. One of the reasons why God did that, brothers and sisters, is for the 400 years of hard bondage that he gave the children of Israel. So God wanted to bring judgment on him. For this reason, God hardened his heart so he will not let them go, so he can bring down persecution on Egypt. Right? Go ahead, my sis.
On the way to Egypt, at a place where Moses and his family had stopped for the night, the Lord confronted him and was about to kill him.
And why was this? The reason why is we know that God is not a play toy. And a lot of people, a lot of us out here, we think that God is a mockery. Sometimes that's what we just do. We think he's a mockery. We think he's a toy. So we don't even respect him. We have no respect for our husband. None. No respect for him. So he was going to kill Moses. Why? Because Moses did not circumcise his sons. So this is how serious this man is. Go ahead.
But Moses' wife, Zipporah, took a flint knife and circumcised her son. She touched his feet with the foreskin and said, now you are a bridegroom of blood to me. When she said a bridegroom of blood, she was referring to the circumcision. After that, the Lord left him alone. Now the Lord had said to Aaron, go out into the wilderness to meet Moses. So Aaron went and met Moses at the mountain of God, and he embraced him. Moses then told Aaron everything the Lord had commanded him to say, and he told him about the miraculous signs the Lord had commanded him to perform.
So God gave Moses a mouthpiece. Moses was trying to back out of this thing that God was giving him to do. He told God, you know, I'm a stammer person. I can't speak. God said, don't worry, I'm going to give you a mouthpiece. I'm going to give you your brother Aaron. You're going to Egypt. Right? Let's move on. Let's go to Deuteronomy 13, and we're going to read 1 to 18. Deuteronomy 13. And we're going to read 1 to 18. Can you get it? It's on you.
If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, Let us go after our other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God proveth you, to know whether ye love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul.
So he said, if a dreamer or some prophet or dreamer of dreams come along and tell you, let's go serve other God, let's go prostitute, because that's exactly what they're saying. And we have a lot of churches that they prostitute the people of God, because what they're doing, they're giving them another Jesus that is different from the one in the Bible. So those are what God is warning us from, brothers and sisters. Prostitution is against him. Go ahead.
Ye shall walk after the Lord your God, and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and ye shall serve him and cleave unto him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he had spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which the Lord thy God commanded thee to walk in. So
go ahead.
So shalt thou put the evil away from the midst of thee.
So that's what it's saying, brothers and sisters. It's just like you have a friend. They know that you're married, but they will try to get you to go to sleep with somebody else. This is the same thing that's going on here. Same example. So if that prophet or dreamer of dream, they say, God said you shall put him to death, because what he's doing, he's trying to get you to go prostitute with someone else other than your husband. Just as I say, like you have a friend, the friend know that you're married, but yet they're going to try to introduce you to someone else other than your partner, your husband or your wife at home. They know that you're married. Why are they trying to introduce you to someone else? So you can commit adultery on your partner. And I'm talking about a husband and wife. All right? So God said you should put that man to death to get evil away from you, because it is evil in the sight of God. Go ahead.
If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is in thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far from thee, from the one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou swear, neither shalt thou conceal him. But thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people, and thou shalt stone him with stones, that he die, because he hath sought to thrust.
So this is the same example I give you. If a friend know that you're married, one of your girlfriends know that you're married, and your girlfriend is trying to introduce you to some other guy outside, knowing that you're married, so you can go sleep with that man. That's bringing folly in your relationship. Is the same concept when it comes to God. God don't want us prostituting with no one else but him. So he said, if a friend, a brother or mother or anything, anybody that come and tell you, let's go serve other gods that is different from the God in the Bible, God is saying, put that man to death. That's how serious he is. He don't want us with no other one but him. So when you look around the world, brothers and sisters, and see how people is dying, why is it? It's for prostituting with other gods, brothers and sisters. That's the reason. We serve every other God out there other than the true God of this Bible. Go ahead.
And thou shalt stone him with stones, that he die, because he had sought to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
Mhm.
And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you.
And God called it wickedness. Right? Go ahead.
If thou shalt hear, say in one of thy cities, which the Lord thy God had given thee to dwell there, saying, certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their city, saying, let us go and serve other gods which ye have not known. Then shalt thou inquire, and make search, and ask diligently, and behold, if it be truth, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought among you, thou
Mhm.
shalt surely smite the inhabitants of the city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle thereof, and the edge of the sword. And thou shalt gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and shalt burn with fire the city, and all the spoil thereof, where every whit, for the Lord thy God, and it shall be an heap forever. It shall not be built again. And
Mhm.
there shall cleave naught of the cursed thing to thine hand, that the Lord may turn from the fierceness of his anger, and show thee mercy, and have compassion upon thee, and
Mhm.
multiply thee as he had sworn unto thy fathers.
Mhm.
When thou shalt hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep all his commandments which I command thee this day, to do that which is right in the eyes of the Lord thy God.
And that's all the Lord wants us to do, brothers and sisters. To hearken unto his commandments, his laws, and his statutes, to do them, brothers and sisters, and we and our children will live. That's all he wants us to do. Hearken unto his voice. Listen to me. I am your husband. Listen to me. I'm not going to lead you astray. Just listen to me. Let's move on. Let's go to the book of 2 Kings. 2 Kings 17. And we're going to read 6 to 21.
Hey!
2 Kings 17, 6 to 21. Go ahead.
(6 to 21). In the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, and
Mhm.
placed them in Hala and in Habor by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had
Mhm.
feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen from the Lord, cast out from before the children of Israel and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God. And they
Mhm.
built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city.
Mhm.
And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen, whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger.
So, brothers and sisters, you know, many people, I talk to people already, and you know, they would say, we all serve the same God. I don't know why y'all doing this, what we serve the same God. Brothers and sisters, everyone don't serve the same God. I don't know where this cliche comes from. Everyone don't serve the same God. If you're not doing what thus says the Bible, you're not serving the God of this Bible. You're serving another God. It's just like the people who have the Quran. If they're not doing what the Quran say, that they're not serving the God of the Quran. It's just common sense. So if you're not following the commandments of God and doing what he tells you, how can you say that you're serving the God of the Bible? That don't even make sense. We don't all serve the same God, because the God of the Bible, he has laws, he has statutes. Everyone has someone to answer to, except God himself. But even Christ, he follows his Father's order. Even Christ. So we have orders. Why we want to come and think that we can make our own laws, make our own ordinances, our own statutes, but yet we say that we're serving a God. How can you serve a God if you're making up your own? That's crazy. That means you are your own God. So what we're reading here is about the northern kingdom, the children of Israel in Samaria. During Solomon's reign, he did wickedly at his end of his term against the Most High God. So what happened? When he passed, God rent the kingdom in two and split it. So we had the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. So this now is talking about the kingdom of Israel. So we are looking about it now. We are looking and reading about it. Let's see what happened. Go ahead.
For they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in the Lord their God.
And we always had this problem, brothers and sisters. Always, from the beginning of time, Israel always had a problem with listening. We don't like orders. We don't like to follow orders. We don't like nobody to tell us nothing. We don't like rules. Israel don't like rules. So this is not something that just started now. This has been going on for centuries, brothers and sisters. Israel have a problem with rules. Go ahead.
And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became, I accidentally touched something. Hold on. Where was I at?
2 Kings 15. 2 Kings 17, verse 15.
I'm on 15.
Verse 15.
Okay. And they followed vanity and became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them, and they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal.
So now, what they're doing, they're serving other gods. Prostitution has always been going on amongst Israel. And as we see, the Bible says there should be no prostitute in Israel, none, because it's an abomination unto the Most High God. Go ahead.
And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only.
So when God took out the northern kingdom out of the land of Samaria, only the 3 tribes that was in Jerusalem, which consists of Benjamin, Levi, and Judah, eventually remained there. But what happened? In 70 AD, we're going to read it later, God took them out too. Why? Because they went following after the treacherous sister. Go ahead.
Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the
Mhm.
Lord rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight.
So
For
this
he-
is what, go ahead.
For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin.
So this is what's been going on, brothers and sisters, with Israel, as I say, from the beginning of time. They've always been serving other gods. We always been prostituting with other gods, right? Let us continue. Let's go to verse 22. Who's the next person, I guess? 22 to 41.
For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day.
Mhm.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Kuta and from Ava and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof.
So what the king of Assyria did, they took out the children of Israel out of the northern kingdom, which was in Samaria, and they brought other people, strangers, and placed them in the land. So the people them that was in the land, living in the land, they were who? They were strangers. They were not the children of Israel. So that lady that was talking to Jesus at the well, that called herself the Samaritan woman, was she Israel? No. She was one of these strangers that was put there in the land. She was not Israel, right? Go ahead.
And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of God of the land. Therefore he had sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land.
So what God did, they went in the land, these strangers, and what they were doing? Wickedness in the land too. Remember, this is his land, this is God's land. So he don't care who you are. If you're not treating it properly, he's going to kick you out. Just like how we kick out his children, right? So he sent lions in there, and the lions was killing them. So now they went to the king and said, hey, the God of this land has sent lions to kill our people because we know not about him. So we're going to see what the king of Assyria did. Go ahead.
Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of God of the land. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Lord. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Sukkot Benat, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nebaz and Tartak, and the Sepharvites burnt their children in fire to Adremelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim.
But look how many gods we're reading about, brothers and sisters. But then people will tell you there's only one God. We are reading the Bible right here. And they're talking about what? Gods. No, brothers and sisters, there's not one God. There's one true God, but there's many gods. The book tells us this. So all of these are gods that these people worship. So when people are saying that we all worship the same God, no, we don't. You might be worshiping one of these gods. We all don't worship the same God. Go ahead.
So they feared the Lord, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared the Lord and served their own gods, after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence.
So the word gods here is plural. They feared the Lord and they served their own gods, plural. So they're not one God, they're many gods. Go ahead.
Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Lord, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandment which the Lord commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel, with whom the Lord had made a covenant and charged them, saying, Ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them.
Mhm.
But the Lord, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and stretched out arm, him shall ye fear, and him shall ye worship, and to him shall ye do sacrifice.
And he means only him, brothers and sisters, no other gods. He don't want us prostituting with no other God but him, right? Go ahead.
And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, ye shall observe to do forevermore, and ye shall not fear other gods.
Mhm.
And the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods.
Mhm.
But the Lord your God ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. Howbeit they did not hearken, but they did after their former manner. So these nations feared the Lord and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers. So do they unto this day.
So they still, what he says, they still didn't hear, they still did not hearken, and they did after the former manner, meaning after the ancestors, their forefathers, still serving other gods. This is nothing new, brothers and sisters. This has been going on for thousands of years. Let us go to Judges chapter 2, and we're going to read verse 1 to verse 10. Judges chapter 2, and we're going to read verse 1 to verse 10. Can you get it, my sister, on you?
And an angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt and have brought you unto the land which I swear unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you.
So who is this that said this? An angel of the Lord. Say, I made you to go up out of Egypt and brought you unto this land, the land that I swore. And I said, this is angel saying that, I will never break my covenant with you. Go ahead.
And ye shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land. Ye shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have ye done this? Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their gods shall be a snare unto you. And it came to pass when the angel of the Lord spoke these words unto all the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept.
And this is a common thing with Israel. We don't listen. We want to do our own thing, make up our own rules. But when judgment come down on us, guess what happened? We start bawling, oh Lord, have mercy upon me. This is a common thing with Israel. Go ahead.
And they called the name of that place Bochim, and they sacrificed there unto the Lord. And when Joshua had let the people go, the children of Israel went every man unto his inheritance to possess the land. And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Lord that he did for Israel. And Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old. And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath Heres, in the mount of Ephraim, on the north side of the hill Gash. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Lord, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel.
So you think after this, they didn't went back doing what they was doing before? Israel never learned. Let us read now from verse 11 to verse 23. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and served Baalim And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods, of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger.
And every time we do this, brothers and sisters, what we are doing, we are provoking our husband to anger. Every time we prostitute ourselves with other gods, that's what we do to him. We anger him, and then he do us hurt. Go ahead.
And they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth.
Mm-hmm.
And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies.
So what he did, we serving other gods. So he said, all right, y'all don't want to stop whoring. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put y'all enemies on top of y'all. So that's exactly what he did, brothers and sisters. When we hurt him, he hurt us. That's how it works. We hurt him, so he turned around and hurt us and our children. Go ahead.
Whithersoever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil, as the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them. And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a whoring after other gods, and bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of the Lord, but they did not so.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Lord raised them up judges, then the Lord was with the judge, and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For it repented the Lord because of their groanings, by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them.
So now, when they groan, because we always doing this, when we cry, God gets sorry for us. He turn around and take us back. And this is a great display of a husband that really loves his wife. No matter what she go out and do, when she start crying, what he do? He turn around and take her back. Come back home, darling. Come back home, darling. And then when she come back home, guess what? She go doing the same thing again. Then he kick her out. Then when the husband outside the man that she went and prostitute with mistreat her, she start bawling. She want to come back home. Then what he does? He turn around, come back home, darling. When she come back home, guess what she does? The same thing again. And that is the same thing that has been going on with Israel and the Lord from the beginning of times. Go ahead, my sis.
And it came to pass when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers, in following other gods to serve them and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn way. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And he said, because that this people had transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died.
Mm-hmm.
That through them I may prove Israel whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein, as their fathers did keep it, or not.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore the Lord left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them into the hand of Joshua.
So that's what God does. He proves us. So he said, listen, just like when he gave us the commandment, he said, I put before you life and death, good and evil. Then he tell you, choose life and live. So he have to prove us to see if we are loyal or not. Don't you have a song what they call he loyal, something like that? She's loyal. That's what he does to us. So he leave these people to see, well, hey, let me see if Israel is going to start following these people God, prostituting with these people God, or they're going to stay with me. But what Israel always turn out to do, they go following other gods. I guess them other gods, they got a better home. They give better promises. For whatever reason, Israel cannot stop whoring. There's a problem with us. Let's move on to Exodus 34. We're going to read 1 to 16. Exodus 34, 1 to 16. You get it, my brother? It's on you.
And the Lord said unto Moses, hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and I will write upon these tables the words that were in the tables, which thou breakest. And be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present thyself there to me in the top of the mount.
Mhm.
And no man shall come up with thee, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount, neither let the flocks nor herds feed before that mount.
Mhm.
And he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first. And Moses rose up early in the morning and went up unto Mount Sinai, as the Lord had commanded him, and took in his hand the 2 tables of stone.
So Moses broke the first tables of stone. Why did Moses break them? Because he came down and saw Israel prostituting with golden calves. Where did they get these gods from? Out of Egypt. They came out of Egypt in the wilderness. Moses went up to deal with God, come down, they down there worshiping other gods, them gods that they came out of Egypt with. Moses got angry, broke the tablets. So God is saying here, you know what? It's okay. Go get you 2 more tables of stone and come up to the mount. Don't bring none of your animals close to the mount, and tell nobody don't come close to the mount. Otherwise, they will die. So God said, I'm going to write them over again and give them back to you. So now, these commandments is so important to us. God made him come up twice to give it to him. And then we have pastors, so-called pastors in the church today, telling people that we don't have to keep them. This is what they're doing. They're telling the people we don't have to keep these laws. So God just wasted his time. That's basically what they're saying. Go ahead.
And the Lord descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of the Lord. And the Lord passed by before him and proclaimed, the Lord God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will be by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children, unto the 3rd and to the 4th generation.
So you see how far back God is going, brothers and sisters? Up until the 3rd and 4th generation, God is going back, killing and doing hurt from the people who is transgressing against him. So he said, I'm going to visit the iniquities of the parents, especially the fathers, on the children, up until the 3rd and 4th generation. He said, by no means he's going to clear the guilty. This is God, brothers and sisters. The same God that we think is a teddy bear. The same God that we say love, love, love. We always saying that he love, 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 but we never teach the other side of him. He has another side, brothers and sisters. He don't only have that long-suffering side. God is a man of wrath. He's a God, a man of war. He don't play, and we have to understand this, brothers and sisters. Go ahead, Moses.
And Moses made haste and bowed his head toward the earth and worshipped. And he said, if now I have found grace in thy sight, O Lord, let my Lord, I pray thee, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for thine inheritance. And he said, behold, I make a covenant. Before all thy people I will do marvels, such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which thou art shall see the work of the Lord. For it is a terrible thing that I will do with thee. Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite.
So these were the nation that was living in Jerusalem, and he took them people out of the land to give that land to his people. Go ahead.
Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee.
Mm-hmm.
But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves.
Mm-hmm.
For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God.
What's his name?
Jealous.
His name is jealous. And again, brothers and sisters, he's not ashamed to tell you that he's jealous. So when he's killing us or doing us hurt, we can't say he never told us that he's jealous. We can't say that. It's just like when you're doing something to somebody or to your husband or your wife, and then he turn around and hurt you. The man tell you he's a jealous man. Why would you provoke him? It's the same thing, brothers and sisters. Why do we provoke God if he let us know that he's a jealous God? He will hurt us. That's why we are dying, brothers and sisters. Go ahead, my sister.
Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice. And thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a whoring after their gods.
So that's one of the reasons why God was telling us, don't make marriages unto other nations, because you, Israel, is the only nation that had a true and living God. All of the other nations, what they do, they serve wood and stone. And I don't want you making marriages unto them, because they're going to only turn you away from me to serve their gods. Israel were the one is the priest, and Israel is the one that God put here to bring the world to him. Israel is that beacon of light that is on the hill. Let's go to Exodus chapter 34, and we're going to read verse 17 to verse 23. This Exodus chapter 14, verse 17 to verse 23.
34.
34. Exodus 34, my bad, verse 17 to verse 23. It's on you, my brother, when you're ready.
All right. Thou shalt make thee no molten gods. The feast of unleavened bread shalt thou keep. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, as I commanded thee, in the time of the month Abib. For in the month Abib thou camest out from Egypt. All that openeth the matrix is mine, and every firstling among thy cattle, whether ox or sheep, that is male. But the firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb, and if thou redeem him not, then shalt thou break his neck. All the firstborn of thy sons thou shalt redeem, and none shall appear before me empty. 6 days thou shalt work, but on the 7th day thou shalt rest. In airing time and in harvest thou shalt rest. And thou shalt observe the feast of weeks, of the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the year's end.
So Christ is giving us these feasts for us to keep to him. We are to sacrifice to him only. We are not to sacrifice to no other gods, none. Him is the only God we're supposed to sacrifice to. Some businesses you go into and you see people have their gods in the business displaying, and they got food and provision in front of the gods. What they're doing? They're sacrificing to the God. They're giving the God sacrifice. We are not supposed to sacrifice to no God other than Christ, right? Go ahead, I'm going to show you something. Go ahead.
Thrice in the year shall all your men, children appear before the Lord God, the God of Israel.
So now he's telling us 3 times a year shall all men, children appear before the Lord, their God, the God of Israel. So I'm going to show you all something too, brothers and sisters. So now, One of these times is, we read it in verse 22, the Feast of Weeks, the first fruit, the wheat harvest, and the end gathering. The Feast of Weeks is referred to as Pentecost, right? Let us go to Acts chapter 2. Acts chapter 2. And we're going to start reading from verse 1. Acts chapter 2, and we're going to start reading from verse 1. When you get it, my brother, it's on you.
And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Mhm,
And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it
Mhm.
filled all the house where they were sitting.
mhm,
And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them.
mhm,
And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with other tongues, as the
Mhm.
Spirit gave them utterance.
mhm.
And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven.
So hold on. So now we're going to do something here. We keep your marker here, and we're going to go back to chapter 1. Acts chapter 1. And we're going to read verse 1 to verse 4. Acts chapter 1. So this is Acts chapter 2. Remember, we read in Exodus, 3 times a year shall all the male appear before the Lord, right? So we want to see what were the cause for all these Jews that was in Jerusalem on the day of Pentecost. What was the purpose there? So we want to show, because a lot of people, a lot of pastors, they say when Christ died on the cross, all those things went away. We don't have to keep them anymore, right? So now we're going to show in Acts chapter 1, this is Christ going back to heaven. So we're going to read from 1 to 4. Acts chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 4.
The former treatise have I made, O Theophilus, of all that Jesus began both to do and teach,
Mhm,
until the day in which he was taken up. After that, he, through the Holy Ghost, had given commandments unto the apostles whom he had chosen,
mhm,
to whom also he showed himself alive after his passion, by many infallible proofs, being seen of them 40 days, and speaking of things pertaining to the kingdom of God,
mhm.
and being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait for the promise of the Father, which, saith he, ye have heard of me.
So now, brothers and sisters, this is Acts chapter 1. Christ already died, been in the grave 3 days, rose from the grave, been with the disciples, been on the earth 40 more days, and this is he now ascending into heaven after he spent his last day with them. So now, remember that all them preachers does be saying, when Christ died, all of those things went away, right? So now we're going back to Acts chapter 2. Remember, Christ went back to heaven in Acts chapter 1. We're going back to Acts chapter 2, and we're reading, and when the day of Pentecost was fully come. So if this is the case, brothers and sisters, why are they still keeping the feast of Pentecost? Why are they still keeping the feast of Pentecost? If we don't have to keep these feasts, brothers and sisters. So he said, all the men shall appear before the Lord. We read that in the book of Exodus. So we're going to read about these men that was there. So we're going to continue. But it says from 5, continue from verse 5.
And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven.
Mhm,
Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
mhm,
And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, Are not all these which speak Galileans?
So now this rushing wind that came into the room, what was it? It was a flock of angels, brothers and sisters. So these were men out of Jews, men out of every nation. So that means these people were speaking different languages per the nation that they came out of, right? But they were Jews that returned back to Jerusalem. Just like how when Christ was young, they used to go back down to Jerusalem to keep the different feasts. One of the time, Christ was left back behind, and they had to go back and look for him because they used to go back to Jerusalem to keep these feasts. So this is one of the same occasion, brothers and sisters. So all these men speak different languages. So the angels then that came into the room, that rushing wind that we read about, those angels was interpreting while Peter and them was preaching the gospel. That's why all of these men could have understood what Peter and them was saying. Right? So we're going to see where all these people come from, the different nations. Go ahead.
And how hear we every man in our own tongue, where when we were born, Parthians and Medes and Elamites, and dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judea and Cappadocia, in Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, in Egypt and in the parts of Libya, about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians. We do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of God.
So all these men was from different places, brothers and sisters. How could they understand Peter and them? That's because the angels them that was in the room, the rushing wind that went in, was the one interpreting for them. But this is not the big thing. The big thing is, the Bible tells you in Exodus chapter 3 times a year shall all the men appear before the Lord. One of them was the Feast of Weeks, which is the day of Pentecost. So again, why are they keeping the Feast of Pentecost after Christ went back to heaven? Because, brothers and sisters, as I said, we always said earlier, don't let nobody, no pastor, shepherd, leaders turn you away from God. When they tell you you're not supposed to be keeping these things, they tell you you're not supposed to be keeping God's commandment, they are turning you away from God. Let's move on. Let's go to Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42, and we're going to read 5 to 8. Isaiah 42, 5 to 8. Isaiah 42, 5 to 8. And when you're ready, you can go ahead.
Thus saith God the Lord, He that created the heavens and stretched them out, He that spread forth the earth, and that which cometh out of it, He that gave it breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light to the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither
So
my
what
praise,
go ahead.
neither my praise to graven images.
So God, our creator, our husband, which is Christ, he is letting us know that he will not give his glory to any other gods out there. No gods that we create with our own mind. He refused to do it. So that's the reason why, you know, you have some people that say, before I do this, I will kill you. Even parents, I hear parents say, I will take you out because I bring you into this world. That's how God see it. Before he turn you over to any God, he will take you out because he refused to give his glory to another. Ain't nobody gonna come and say, well, I'm the one that did this, I'm the one that created. No, he did it. And he is jealous. He don't want no one taking his glory. No one. Before he do that, he will take you out. He will do you hurt. That's the God that we're dealing with, brothers and sisters. Let's read from verse 18 to verse 25. Isaiah 42, verse 18 to verse 25. When you get it, my brother? It's on you.
Hear ye deaf, and look ye blind, that ye may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent?
Mhm.
Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant?
And God is
Seeing many-
talking to Israel. He's talking to his people. And he's saying, what are you calling them? Blind and deaf people. That's what he's calling them. Blind and deaf people. Go ahead.
Seeing many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not.
Mhm.
The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
Mhm.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. There are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none deliver it.
Mhm.
For a spoil, and none say it, restore.
So who is the one that is hidden away in prison houses, brothers and sisters? We are. Israel is the one that makes up the majority of the prison houses. Any country that you go, we are the one that makes up the population of the prison houses, the prison system. Any country, any state, any city, we are the ones. So we are the one that the book is referring to, the blind and deaf, because we are the one refuse to hearken to the words of God. So he said, but who are these people? They're robbed and they're spoiled, and they're all snared in holes, and they're hidden away in prison houses. Is the people who is saying that they are the Jews or the people of the book, God's chosen people? Do they make up the population of the prison system? No. Do they hang out on the street corners like bulls in a net? No. Do they have these curses that this book talk about on them? No. So, brothers and sisters, how can this book be talking about them? None of these curses fit them. It only fits one people, brothers and sisters. It only fits one people. Go ahead, my brother.
Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
Mhm.
Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord, he against whom we have sinned?
Mhm.
For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law.
So what happened now? It says, who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? So who turned us over into the hands of our enemy? Our husband did that, brothers and sisters. Why? Because we refuse to stay loyal. We refuse to stay loyal. So for that, he turned us over into the hands of our lovers. Since you want to go and prostitute yourself, I'm going to turn you over into the hands of your lovers. See if they can help you. So God is the one that turned us, Israel, over into the hands of their robbers. Go ahead, my brother.
Stop on 24 again. Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord, he against whom we have sinned?
Mm-hmm.
For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore he had poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it had set him on fire round about, yet he knew not. And it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart.
Because we don't, it's like another thing. I think one of the reasons that's why God said he's going to start punishing from the church. You know why, brothers and sisters? He's going to start punishing from the church? Because it is because of these false churches that we have set up out here that people have no clue who God is. That's why God said the fear of God is taught by the precept of man. So if we know that God is the one that is have us in this derision that we're in, we will do better. We will change. But when these things happen, you know what we think? We think Satan is the one doing it. Why Satan is the one doing it? We have no clue that God is the one that is doing it. Because the preachers, the so-called preachers in the church is not telling us that God is the one that is punishing us. They're not telling us that. They're telling you that Satan is the one that is punishing us. Satan himself going to be punished. Satan don't run things. God run things, brothers and sisters. And the atrocities that we are going through is from our God. Satan is working for our God. Believe that, brothers and sisters. That's why he said he's going to tear up these pastors who is misleading his people. They're devouring souls because they refuse to teach the truth. They come with the love messages. They don't teach the other side of God. Let's go to Matthew 23 and we're going to read 25 to 39. Matthew 23, we're going to read 25 to 39. When you got it, it's on you.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye make clean the outside of the cup of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess.
These are the leaders, brothers and sisters. These are the leaders that God is calling scribes, the hypocrites. These are the leaders. Go ahead.
Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness.
So why are dead man bones? Why are they full of dead man bones? He said, blind Pharisees, cleanse first. That is within thy cup. He's talking about your mind. Clean your mind first. And why are they full of dead man bones? Because these are the one that is leading people to the lake of fire, brothers and sisters. These are the one that is leading people to the lake of fire. The so-called leaders that is in the churches. Go ahead.
Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because ye build the tombs of the prophets, and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous.
And how they build the tombs? They are the one, they will say, stone the prophets that come to warn them. When the prophets come to warn them, they stone them, they kill some of them. But they don't know. If they used to read the Bible or understand the Bible, they would know that God don't make no move unless he send people to warn. He always sends somebody to warn you before he makes a move. But what they do, when the people come to warn them, the prophets, what they do, they stone them and kill them. We don't want to hear from you. We will do what we want. So that's why God is going to start from within these churches. Go ahead.
And say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets.
And we know that's a lie. So they're saying if it was us in the days of our father, we would not partake, but that's a lie. They would have, because they're the children of their fathers. Go ahead.
Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves, that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers, ye serpents, ye
Mhm.
generation of vipers.
Mhm.
How can ye escape the damnation of hell?
How can you escape the damnation of hell? So-called pastors and leaders who is leading the people astray and not teaching them the truth. Go ahead.
Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill and crucify, and some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city,
Jeez. Go ahead.
that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias,
Mhm.
whom ye slew between the temple and the altar.
Go ahead.
Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation.
Mhm.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and
Mhm.
stonest them which are sent unto thee, how
Mhm.
often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. Behold, your house.
Hold on there. So it's crazy, man. When you read in this Bible and something, when you read some things, man, and things come to your mind, is crazy. We have people today that kill their wives or kill their husband. They will poison them, kill them. Women killing the husband, slow poisoning them. Husband kill their wives and lie and say they don't know, they just left the house, they never came back. Isn't it the same thing we did to our God, our husband? We are the one that killed him. And then we know we want to blame people. Oh, the Romans is the one that killed him. No, we, Israel, is the one that killed the God. Because if it was not for us, we wouldn't say crucify him, crucify him. So the people them today, they are following the patterns of the people them that is in the same book, brothers and sisters. They're killing their wives, husband killing the wives, or wives killing their husbands. And we are the wives, and we did what? We kill our husband. We are the one that killed God. We killed Christ. We killed him. There's nothing new under the sun, brothers and sisters. Nothing new. Go ahead, sister.
Behold, your house is left unto you desolate.
Mm-hmm.
For I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord.
And is our house left desolate? Yes. So why people saying that we're African? You have people in Ethiopia and the Congo and all these places, they're full of Africans. So if we were Africans, they're that desolate. What is our home that is desolate? Jerusalem is our home and is desolate of us. We are not in it. Someone else is in it calling themselves us. So behold, our house is left unto us desolate because we are not in our home, brothers and sisters. Someone else is in it. Africa is not left desolate. When I say Africa, meaning like in Ethiopia and Nigeria and Benin and all these places, they're not desolate because they're full of Africans. Jerusalem is desolate of us because we are not there. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Let's go to Psalms 83, and we're going to read verse 1 to verse 18. Psalms 83, we're going to read verse 1 to verse 18. When you get it, it's on you.
A song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
Mm-hmm.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Mm-hmm.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
And who is the hidden ones? Israel is the hidden ones. Why they call the hidden ones? They don't know who they are. All the nations them come together to hide them, to take them out of the inheritance, take them out of their name, take away the name, give them other names, brothers and sisters. They don't know who they are. And when you're telling them that they're Israel, you will get chastised by most of them. I know Israel. Some of them even calling themselves Gentiles, because we are ignorant, brothers and sisters, to who we are. We want to be everyone else but who we really are. This is the blindness that God put on us. That is part of the curse. Why? Because we refuse to stay loyal. Go ahead.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Mhm.
For
So
they
what
have
is that the name of Israel will be with no more in remembrance? So we are the only people who is calling ourselves Israel, Israelites. We are the only people now that is waking up, that is calling ourselves Israelite. You see any other nation calling themselves Israelites? No. Because now we are waking up to who we are, brothers and sisters. The other people who say they are us, they don't call themselves Israelites. They call themselves Jews or Jewish. So he said, let us wipe them out, that the name of Israel will be no more in remembrance. And they did succeed by doing that, because they put all of our people in slavery, brothers and sisters. And they took our name, they took our heritage, they took our God, and they gave us theirs. They gave us their names, their heritage, and their God. Go ahead, my sis.
They have consulted together with one consent.
Mm-hmm.
They are confederate against thee.
Mm-hmm.
The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarites,
The
Gebal,
Hagarenes.
Gebal, and Ammon and Amalek, the
Mhm.
Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Mm-hmm.
Assur also is joined with them.
Mm-hmm.
They have holpen the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth.
So all of these nations, brothers and sisters, what they do, they come together to keep us in bondage. Who is on the top of the list? Our brother Esau. He's on the top of the list. The first name that called was Esau. Who is the other one? Our family, the Ishmaelites. So up to this day, brothers and sisters, Israel is still in slavery by the Arab nation. We still have Israelites today that is still in slavery under the Arab nations. And that was a black nation. So Edom, which is our brother, Ishmael is our family member, Moab is our family member, the Hagarenes, Jabal, Ammon, our family members, the daughters of Lot, the two daughters of Lot, the Moabites and the Ammonites. Even our family brothers and sisters is in this together. Go ahead.
Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zebah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the house of God in possession.
And they did that because right now we are not in it. Someone else is in it. So they did take the house of God in possession. Go ahead.
Oh my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yeah, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Jehovah, art the Most High over all the earth.
So let them know whose name alone is Jehovah, the Most High over all the earth. And this is talking about Jesus the Christ, brothers and sisters. Jesus the Christ is Jehovah. Let us move on. Let's go to Luke chapter 21. And we're going to read verse 14 to verse 24. Luke 21, 14 to 24. Can you get it? It's on you.
Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And ye shall be destroyed, and ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinfolks and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death.
And is this a lie? No, you shall be betrayed both by parents, brethren, kinfolks, and friends. And this is a true saying, right? Go ahead.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
And that's exactly what it is. When you come into the truth, you're going to see how much people become your enemies. There's nothing new under the sun, brothers and sisters. When you come into the truth, you start growing enemies because of the name of Christ. Go ahead.
But there shall not an hair of your head perish. In your patience possess ye your souls. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, unto the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So, brothers and sisters, I want you to answer this. It says, and Jerusalem shall fall by the edge of the sword, and the people were led away captive. This happened in 70 AD. And now it says, and Jerusalem going to be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So we have a lot of people that say we are the Gentiles, because a lot of churches teach the hue, the people with a darker hue, they call them they're the Gentiles. So if we are the Gentiles, brothers and sisters, so who are the Gentiles in Jerusalem that is treading down Jerusalem right now? How come we don't look alike? How come we're a different hue? We're different color people. If we're the Gentiles, why are we not in Jerusalem? The Bible says Jerusalem going to be treading down of the Gentiles. So that means something is wrong. That means we are not the Gentiles, because the people who is in Jerusalem right now treading it down don't look like us. So it's either the people don't know what they're saying, or they're saying the Bible is a liar. So who is in Jerusalem treading it down? Who are the Gentiles that is treading down Jerusalem? Let's go to Genesis chapter 9. Brothers and sisters, the reason why we got kicked out of our house is because we refuse to do right in our house. So the husband kick out his wife. Hey, you can't stay here. You got men running in and out of my place. You can't stay here. You got to go. So he kick her out of the house. The same thing. We got kicked out of our house for prostitution. That's what happened to us. Genesis 9, we're going to read 20 to 27. When you get it, you can go ahead.
And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren.
So did he curse Ham or he cursed Canaan, which is his children? He cursed his children, not Ham, right? Go ahead.
And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant.
So God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So Japheth is dwelling in the tents of Shem right now. Japheth are the Gentiles that is dwelling in Jerusalem, that is treading down Jerusalem, right? So Japheth, God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So Japheth, which are the Gentiles, is the one that is in our home right now. They are the Gentiles that is treading down Jerusalem. Let's go to Genesis 10, and we're going to read 1 to 5. Genesis 10, 1 to 5. One chapter over. Genesis 10, 1 to 5. Let's see who are the Gentiles, brothers and sisters. When you get it, it's on you.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog and Madai and Javan and Tubal and Meshech and Tiras. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz and Rephath and Togarmah.
So brothers and sisters, we want you to keep in mind, you see the word there, Ashkenaz? The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. But remember, these are the descendants of who? Japhat or Japheth. These are the descendants of Japheth, right? Ashkenaz, remember that name. Go ahead.
And the sons of Javan, Elisha and Tarshish, Kittim and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families in their nations.
So he said, by these people that we just read, which is the descendants of Japheth, are referred to as the Gentiles, brothers and sisters. So these people over there, they call themselves what? Ashkenazi Jews. So the Ashkenazi Jews are Gentiles, brothers and sisters. They are converts. That's why they had to convert to Judaism. If you are the Jews, why would you have to convert to something that you are? You wouldn't have to convert to Judaism because you say you are the people. So that being said, they are the Gentiles that the Bible tells us that Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles, which are these people that is calling themselves the Jews, until the time of the Gentile be fulfilled. The time of the Gentile will not be fulfilled, brothers and sisters, until Christ returns. Christ is not here. So if we are the Gentiles, why aren't we running the world? Why are we living? Why are we living the way we're living? Why aren't we running the world? Why don't we own the media? Why don't we own the banks? Why do we have to go to everyone who doesn't look like us for what we need? If we are the Gentiles, we're supposed to be on top. But brothers and sisters, That's because we are not the Gentiles. That's the reason why we are living in the condition that we're in, because we are not the Gentiles. We are the people that got kicked out of our home. We are the unruly wife that refuse to stick to one husband. So we got kicked out of our home, and somebody else now is in our home because we didn't want it. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. We're going to read verse 1 to verse 6, and then we're going to read 15 to 19. Deuteronomy 28. That's why we are lost sheep. We got kicked out of our home, and now we just finding some places just to lay our head. So that's why we in every religion out there in the world. We want to be Buddha, we want to be Muslim, we want to be Witness, we want to be JWs. We want to be everything other than who we're supposed to be. Why? Because we are wanderers. We're not home. Deuteronomy 28, 1 to 6. Go ahead. When you get it, sis.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. So
this is the addendum that God gave us. It said, if you do what I tell you, keep my covenant, my commandments, my statutes, my ordinances, you stick to one husband, this is what's going to happen to you. You will be blessed in everything that you put your hands on. But when you start cheating on me, I'm going to show you what's going to happen too. Right? Go ahead.
Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shall thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goest out. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
He said, all these curses will come upon you. When you decide to cheat on me, all these curses is going to come upon you. Go ahead.
Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be thy fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. So curse, anything that we put our hands on, brothers and sisters, it will be cursed. When you decide to cheat on me, you decide not to do what I tell you, okay, I'm not going to give you my treasures. I'm going to take them from you. All the blessings that I was giving you, you can't keep them. What is wrong with you? You can't expect to cheat on me and keep all of that. Give me my stuff back. Give it to me. So what do you call him? Indian giver. That's what they used to call when we were growing up. Yes, he don't care. Because he tell you, if you cheat on him, this is what's going to happen. So when you cheat on him and he do it to you, you can't blame him, brothers and sisters. We can't blame him because he told us this is what's going to happen if you do it. Let's go to verse 25. We'll read 25 to 26, 32 to 34, 43 to 46. Verse 25. Go ahead. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
We're going to be what? We're going to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Did we migrate? No. These people that is in our land, they wasn't removed from nowhere. They migrated. They wasn't removed from nowhere. They migrated. Go ahead.
And thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
Brothers and sisters, whose sons and daughters was given to people? That is our sons and daughters. Why? Because when you're in slavery, then you become possessions. You become property. So even your kids, you don't own them. They belong to your slave masters because you are the property of your slave masters. So your kids, they are also property of your slave masters. They don't belong to you. So what the slave masters do, they take them and sell them to other people. And there will be no might in your hand. You can't do nothing about it. That's the price we pay for cheating. Go ahead.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. Verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
So who are the one that is low? Anywhere you go, brothers and sisters, we are the one that is on the bottom of everything. We are the bottom of every barrel, every brown box, cardboard, but everything. We are on the bottom. Everyone is above us. Everyone is superior to us. We are the inferior ones. How are we the Gentiles, brothers and sisters? We can't be the Gentiles. We ain't running nothing but our mouth. That's what we're doing right now. We're running our mouth. That's the only thing we can run. The Gentiles is the one that is running the world right now, brothers and sisters. We don't look like them. So we can't be the Gentiles. Go ahead.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
And we are the tail. Anywhere you go, we are the tail. Everybody's above us. So is this book talking about some other people other than us? No, it's talking about us. We need a magnifying glass to see this, brothers and sisters? No, we don't need a magnifying glass. All we have to do is just read the text and use wise judgment, use common sense. Go ahead, sis.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
So, brothers and sisters, these signs, the signs of the curse, it says, is upon us and upon our seed. Who is your seed? Your children, forever. Brothers and sisters, no matter where we go, our people is in the same predicament. No matter what country, what city, what state, we are in the same predicament, our people. So he said, these signs going to be upon you, these curses going to be upon you for a sign and for a wonder. When people see what we're going to say, yeah, man, that's Israel right there. That's Israel. No matter you try to move in the nice neighborhood, when we start moving into the neighborhood, you know what the other people them start doing? They start moving out. You know why? Because they don't want to be amongst us. Because anything we touch, we destroy. So they don't want to be amongst us. We start anything, what happened not too long after? It's destroyed. That's the part of the curse, brothers and sisters. The people who call themselves us, they are not going through this, brothers and sisters. None of these curses that we are reading pertains to them. None. Let's read this.
This
Hold on. You finished at that, right? Yeah. So we're going to read here now. Can you see it or you need it big?
yeah, I got it.
Let me see. Okay.
So we reading from the siege of Jerusalem.
Yeah. To down here. Is to here.
Okay. The siege of Jerusalem of 70 CE was the decisive event of the First Jewish-Roman War, 66 to 73 CE, in which the Roman army led by future Emperor Titus besieged Jerusalem, the center of Jewish rebel resistance in the Roman province of Judea.
Mhm.
Following a 5-month siege, the Romans destroyed the city and the second Jewish temple. In April 70 CE, 3 days before Passover, the Roman army started besieging Jerusalem. The city had been taken over by several rebel factions following a period of massive unrest and the collapse of a short-lived provisional government.
You know,
But then-
most of the time when Jerusalem is attacked, if you all do research, guess when it does be? It mostly be on feast days or on the Sabbath. Most of the time when Jerusalem is attacked. You know why? Because they know that the people lock down on the Sabbath and they don't do nothing. They don't fight no war and stuff on the Sabbath. So a lot of places with time when they come against Jerusalem, they come on the Sabbath day or on these feast days because they know that we shut down for them time. No war. These people smart. Tactics. Go ahead.
Within 3 weeks, the Roman army broke the first 2 walls of the city, but a stubborn rebel standoff prevented them from penetrating the thickest and third wall.
Mhm.
According to Josephus, a contemporary historian and the main source for the war, the city was ravaged by murder, famine, and cannibalism.
So Josephus is an old Jewish historian, and he wrote a lot of books. So y'all can look him up, Josephus, and read some of his books. Like he had one of them from, I think, from Babylon to Timbuktu. He got a lot of books out there. Go ahead.
On Tisha B'Av, 70 CE, August 30, Roman forces overwhelmed the defenders and set fire to the temple. Resistance continued for another month, but eventually the upper and lower parts of the city were taken as well, and the city was burned to the ground. Titus spared only the 3 towers of the Herodian citadel as a testimony to the city's former might. The siege had a major toll on human life, with many people being killed and enslaved, and large parts of the city destroyed. This victory gave the Flavian dynasty legitimacy to claim control over the empire. A triumph was held in Rome to celebrate the fall of Jerusalem, and 2 triumphal arches were built to commemorate it. The treasures looted from the temple were put on display. The destruction of Jerusalem and the Second Temple marked a major turning point in Jewish history. The loss of Mother City and Temple necessitated a reshaping of Jewish culture to ensure its survival. Judaism temple-based sects, including the priesthood and the Sadducees, diminished in importance. A new form of Judaism that became known as Rabbinic Judaism developed out of Pharisaic school
Mhm.
and eventually became the mainstream form of the religion.
Mhm.
Many followers of Jesus of Nazareth also survived the city's destruction. They spread his teachings across the Roman Empire, giving rise to the new religion of Christianity. After the war had ended, a military camp of Legio ex Fretensis was established on the city's ruins. Jerusalem was later refounded as the Roman colony of Aelia Capitolina.
Mhm.
Foreign cults were introduced and Jews were forbidden entry. This event is often considered one of the catalysts for the Bar Kokhba revolt.
So now the real Jews are the one forbidden entry. The fake Jews, they were helped by other nations to put them up inside there. So the real Jews, them now, the real Jews can't go back there and say, well, hey, they come to claim no land. No, They push them on the outskirts. Y'all ain't coming in here. Y'all abandon y'all home. Now y'all coming back to, nah, you can't come up in here. Right? Hold on there. So now this is a history book, the last 2 million years. And this is one of the pages. So we're going to read from here where it says faith survived the dispersion. From here. From here you can
So
read.
everything that's highlighted.
Right.
Faith survives the dispersion. The crucifixion of Jesus about AD 30 did not end Jewish resistance to the Roman occupation. In 70, when the country was again in a state of revolt, Jerusalem, the holy city, became the core of the resistance to the Romans. Titus, the son of Emperor Vespasian, proceeded to lay siege to Jerusalem. The city fell and the inhabitants were enslaved in their thousands and dispersed throughout the Mediterranean world. This was the first dispersion and worse was to follow.
So now, the people of Jerusalem, they were enslaved in their thousands and they were dispersed to the Mediterranean. So now, if these people are in Jerusalem, they were enslaved and dispersed throughout the, who is the one that went on slave ship that were dispersed throughout the Mediterranean? Was it white people or was it black people? Like, I can't understand how people does, they can't see this or they just refuse to see it. Who was on slave ships, brothers and sisters? Who were dispersed to the four corners of the earth as property, as livestock? It was melanated people. What they call African Americans. That's what they call them, African Americans. So even if they call them African American, let's go with that name. African American is black people. So how now a different color people that is in there saying that they were the people of the land? Which slave ship did you come over here on? Which slave ship did you go to Antigua on? Which slave ship did you go to Bahamas on? Which slave ship did you go to Puerto Rico on? Which slave ship did you go to Haiti on? As white people. So why do we do that, brothers and sisters? Why can't we wake up and see what's going on? Which slave ship did they come here on or got dispersed on? None. They own most of the slave ships that was taken up. I thought they were the one that's supposed to be in the slave ship. If we are the Gentiles, that means we're supposed to be the owners of the slave ship, right? And they're supposed to be in the belly. But it's not so, brothers and sisters, because the history that we've been taught in school is not our history. That's their history. That's not ours. So I was so happy when they took history out of the schools. Why? Because they was contaminating our children anyway. I was so glad when they took prayer out of the school. Why? Because they have our children praying to false gods anyway. So it was a good thing that God made them take it out. Because you have his children, God's children, praying to false gods. God knows what he's doing. He's not slow. He knows what he's doing. Go ahead, my sis.
Continual insurrections and revolts against Roman rule led to the total destruction of Jerusalem in 135. The city was renamed Aelia Capitolina, and all Jews were prohibited from entering it. A second and more important dispersion now took place, and the whole of Judea was renamed Palestine.
So there you go, brothers and sisters. So this, what we're going through is us. And we see without a doubt who the people, the real people, supposed to be. The people who is going through the atrocities, the people who got kicked out, the people who got taken advantage of. those are the ones that was cheating on the God. Because if these people here is cheating on the God now, how come they're not getting beat up? How come they're not getting beat up? How come we're the one getting beat up? We ever thought about that? How come we are the one getting beat up and chastised and not them? I thought God was punishing his people. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28. We're going to read verse 56 to 61. Deuteronomy 28, 56 to 61. Go ahead, when you got it.
The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates.
So at this time, brothers and sisters, remember the Romans surrounded Jerusalem. They stopped anyone from coming in, going into Jerusalem, or coming out to get food. So no one could have come out, no one could have gone in. So what happened? After the food ran out that they had in there, you know what they did? They start eating the children. But all of this was prophesied. God said, you're going to eat your children. And this is what started happening. Right? Go ahead.
If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
So who is the one dying from so many sicknesses? Is it them, brothers and sisters? That's what I can't understand. How people why people refuse to see what's going on. Almost every disease that come out, our people is the most people that die from it. Why is that? It seems like they just make the disease to target our people. So hundreds of our people die from the sickness. Look at COVID. They say COVID did not start here. They said COVID started in China. But yet, Black people over here is the most people that die from it. Why didn't the most people that die from it the place that they said it was formed? If they say it was formed in China, why didn't the Chinese then get killed out? So this is a thing that we have to think about. Our people, the Negroes, are the most people that die from this sickness, this COVID, so-called COVID. Of course, it's going to be casualty of wars. Some of them is going to die because that's just how war is. But the majority of people that died from it is our people, the Negroes. Why is that? Because God is the one that put these plagues on us. He said these sickness, every sickness and plague that is not written in the book of the law, he will put on us to destroy us, brothers and sisters, because we refuse to stop pouring. So this is all the plagues that he's putting on us, the sickness. We die with diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, all of these things. Our people is the one that is dying from all of these things by the mass. But again, we don't seem to want to relate death and evil to God. We automatically say Satan or the devil. But brothers and sisters, God is the one that is doing it, because nothing goes down without his say-so. Nothing. Let's go to Daniel 9. Let's go to Daniel 9. Daniel chapter 9. Daniel chapter 9, we're going to read 7 to 19. Daniel chapter 9, we're going to read 7 to 19. Daniel chapter 9, we're going to read 7 to 19. Daniel chapter 9, 7 to 19. You can go ahead. You get it.
O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, to the men of Judah, unto the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel,
Mhm.
that are near and that are far off, through
Mhm.
all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespass, that they have trespassed against thee.
So who it is it talking about? All Israel, all Judah, confusion of faces. All of Israel, right? Go ahead.
O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
Mhm.
To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him.
Mhm.
Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God to walk in his laws, which he
Mhm.
set before us by his
Mhm.
servants the prophets. Yet all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by the departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
It said all
Therefore,
Israel. Is this a some Israel?
all Israel,
A little bit of Israel?
all
All,
Israel,
all Israel, brothers and sisters. All Israel is under this curse. All Israel is under this curse. And we're going to be under this curse until the return of our husband. Right? Go ahead.
yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Brothers and sisters, we just read the laws of Moses, which is Deuteronomy 28. We just read it. So he says, all Israel is under the curse that is written in the laws of Moses. We just read Deuteronomy 28, right? Because we have sinned against God. Go ahead.
And he had confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven had not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem.
So, brothers and sisters, here we have it too. What has been done to us, no other nation under the heaven can claim it. None. What happened to us have never happened to no other nation. Go ahead.
As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. Yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. Therefore had the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. The Lord our God is righteous in all his works which he doeth, for he obeyed not his voice. For
And
we obeyed not his voice.
he is righteous in all his works that he do. Why, brothers and sisters? Because if someone tell you they got a gun before you and they tell you, hey, give me your wallet, otherwise I'm going to shoot you, and you don't give them your wallet, that's being ignorant, brothers and sisters. The man just tell you, give me your wallet, otherwise I'm going to shoot you. Why you want to take a chance with your life for a wallet? Give the man your wallet. So if Christ tell us, hey, if you do this, this is what's going to happen to you. And then we turn around and do it. When it happened to us, is Christ the one unrighteous? No, we are the evil one. He told us what he's going to do. So if you sin against him, that is what he's going to do. Because he already told you that this is what's going to happen. If you don't do it, that means he is a liar. Go ahead.
And now, O Lord our God, that has brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and has gotten thee renown, as at this day, we have sinned, we have done wickedly.
Mhm.
O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city Jerusalem, thy holy mountain, because for our sins and for the iniquities of our fathers, Jerusalem and thy people are become a reproach to all that are about us.
But at this time, it's too late, because when Christ took down Jerusalem in 70 AD, Israel was took away from the land forever until the return of Christ. So it's too late. He's been giving us chances and chances and chances and chances, and we still wouldn't learn. We still wouldn't take heed. So God, it come a point when he said, you know what? This is it. I'm kicking you out of my house and you're not coming back no time soon. I don't care how much you beg. So what happened? Our home is desolate of us. We're not there. Go ahead.
Now, therefore, O our God, hear the prayer of thy servant and his supplication, and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary that is desolate, for the Lord's sake.
Mhm.
O my God, incline thine ear and hear, open thine eyes and behold our desolations, and the city which is called by thy name. For we do not present our supplication before thee for our righteousness, but for thy great mercies.
Mhm.
O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do. Defer not for thine own sake. O my God, for thy city and thy people are called by thy name.
So this is what happened to us, brothers and sisters. So this thing, all through history, all through this Bible, wherever we read, we see that the children of Israel constantly get kicked out of Israel for doing things they have no business doing. So these people right now that is over there that call themselves chosen people and the people of the land, they have wicked party every year over there. Every year they have wicked party going on over there. So why is it that they're still in the land and God ain't take them out of the land yet? That's because they are not the people of the land. So that's why they're still there. If it was Israel in the land, they would have got kicked out. People need to understand. Let's go to Luke 19, 41 to 44. Luke 19, 41 to 44. You go ahead.
And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, If thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this day thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but
Mhm.
now they are hid from thine eyes.
Uh-huh.
For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side.
And we just read about that, brothers and sisters, in the history of what the Romans did to Jerusalem. This happened in 70 AD. So this is Christ foretelling his people that this is what's going to happen, right? So Christ brought this to them prior to it happening. But did this change them so that that would happen? No, that didn't change them. Go ahead.
And shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they
Mhm.
shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because
Mhm.
thou knewest not the time of thy visitation.
So now he said they know it not the time of their visitation, because God ain't going to tell them when it's going to happen. That's why he said you always have to be ready. Always have to be ready. It's just like a thief. When a thief come into your house, he's not going to tell you, hey, I'm coming at 5 o'clock, so you can sit up and wait. You always have to be on guard, brothers and sisters. That's why even with Christ, he's not going to tell you the time that he's coming. You have to be ready all the time, because if you know that he's coming in 2050, you're not going to want to do right until 2050 when he's about to come. So he's not telling you when he's coming. So you have to be right now. Get yourself right, because you never know when he's coming. Let us go to Micah 3. We're going to read 1 to 12. Micah 3, 1 to 12. NLT. Micah 3, 1 to 12 NLT. Micah 3, 1 to 12 NLT.
Ready?
I'm ready.
I said, listen, you leaders of Israel. You are supposed to know right from wrong, but you are the very ones who hate good and love evil. You
Go
skin
ahead.
my people alive and tear the flesh from their bones. Yes, you eat my people's flesh, strip off their skin and break their bones. You chop them up like meat for the cooking pot. Then you beg the Lord for help in times of trouble.
You hear that? You hear that? They are the one that is misleading our people, leading them to the lake of fire. Then when trouble come down and them, what they doing? They're the one begging the Lord for help. Go ahead.
Do you really expect him to answer? After all the evil you have done, he won't even look at you.
Jeez.
This is what the Lord says. You false prophets are leading my people astray. You promise peace for those who give you food, but you declare war on those who refuse to feed you. Now the night will close around you, cutting off all your visions. Darkness will cover you, putting an end to your predictions. The sun will set for you prophets, and your day will come to an end. Then you seers will be put to shame, and you fortune tellers will be disgraced. And you will cover your faces, because there is no answer from God. But as for me, I am filled with power, with the Spirit of the Lord. I am filled with justice and strength to boldly declare Israel's sin and rebellion.
Sure do. Go ahead.
Listen to me, you leaders of Israel. You hate justice and twist all that is right.
And that's what we do. Twist the truth. Go ahead.
You are building Jerusalem on a foundation of murder and corruption. You rulers make decisions based on bribes. You priests teach God's law only for a price.
Only for the bring the we call it the tithes. Only for the tithes. Go ahead.
You prophets won't prophesy unless you are paid. Yet all of you claim to depend on the Lord. No harm can come to us, you say, for the Lord is here among us. Because of you, Mount Zion will be plowed like an open field. Jerusalem will be reduced to ruins. A thicket will grow on the heights where the temple now stands.
So that's why we're not in our home, because of our leaders who lead us astray, brothers and sisters. Now someone else is inhabiting our land because of those false leaders who led us astray. Now we come in America, now we come into these other countries, and we're doing the same thing. We go into these graveyards that they call churches and sit down while the man behind there, the grave digger, is digging the graves for us. It's the same thing that's been happening back in the day. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. They refuse to teach God's word. Refuse to teach his laws. All they want to teach you is love, 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 love. They're not telling you about the wrath. Yes, ain't nothing wrong with teaching love, but you got to teach them, hey, if you go against God, that love turns into chastisement. You're going to have to feel the rod. If you're teaching it, teach it all. You got to teach the both sides of God. Luke 24, we're going to read 1 to 14. Luke 24, we're going to read 1 to 14.
That's Matthew.
Matthew, I'm sorry. Thank you, sis. Well, I see double over. Matthew 24, 1 to 14. Go ahead. We're almost there. We're almost home.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
Mhm.
And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Mhm.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all
Mhm.
these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Mhm.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes and divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
Mhm.
Then shall he deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Mhm.
And then,
It is coming for us. So we have to hold on tight because it is coming for us. This is talking about future. It's coming for us too. Go ahead.
and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many.
Mhm.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Mhm.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
He that endures to the end. That's all we're going to do. A lot of people walking around talking about they're saved. Brothers and sisters, no one is saved. No one is saved now. We just read, he that endures to the end, the same shall be saved. To the end, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
So this gospel have to preach for witness against all. So you think it's ironic that we have internet? Now we can reach people across the next side of the world because this thing has to go out. So when we come before God, we don't have no excuse saying that, hey, nobody never told me. I didn't know. This gospel is going to be a witness against all man, even the one who is denying God. Okay, so you never know. 15 to 28. Matthew 24, 15 to 28. Go ahead.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
Mhm.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
Mhm.
Let him which is in the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house,
Mhm.
neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Mhm.
And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Mhm.
But pray ye that your fight be not in the winter, that your flight
Amen.
be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day.
Mhm.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be.
And these times are coming up, brothers and sisters. These troublous times are here right before us. Go ahead.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
That's why it's only going to run for 3.5 years. Because it said, if it don't be shortened, some people saying 7 years. No, it's not 7 years. 7 years, as it says, there shall no flesh be saved. So 3.5 years that this great tribulation going to run for. Go ahead.
Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not.
Mhm.
For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Mhm.
Behold, I have told you before.
Mhm.
Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
Mhm.
For as the lightning coming out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So it will not be a secret, brothers and sisters. It says, as the lightning shineth out of the thing and coming into the west, so shall the sign of the coming of the Son of Man be. It will not be a secret. This thing going to be worldwide. Right? Go ahead.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be the eagles. There will the eagles be gathered together.
You know why? Because there's going to be a lot of dead bodies when Christ returns. Let's go to Matthew 24 to 24. We're going to read from 29 to 44. We're going to read from 29 to 44. Go ahead, Winnie.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
You know, I hear some religion, they say that this thing happened already. When we read this and say that the stars and the moon shall fall, they're saying that this happened already. They're even telling me, look at the sky. When last you see a star in the sky? And this is the after the tribulation. That ain't come yet. It says after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened. They're saying because we had blood moon already. This ain't got nothing to do with this. After the tribulation, this is going to happen. The tribulation is not started yet. Go ahead, my sis.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And
Mhm.
then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming into in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Uh-huh.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
So now, when Christ is coming, it says he's going to send his angels and they're going to gather. Who is the elect? Israel is the elect. Israel. They are the one that is gathered in the four corners of the heaven or four corners of the earth. Israel is God's elect. Go ahead.
Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh.
Mhm.
So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors.
Go ahead.
Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things are fulfilled.
Go
Till
ahead.
all things be fulfilled, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away.
Go ahead.
But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
Mhm.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So now this is a thing that I want you all to listen to. Thing too. This is similar to Jonah. He giving you an example, just like how we gave the example of Jonah. So he says, "For as the days that were before the flood," right? Now let's back up on there. But as the days of Noah were, so also the coming of the Son of Man shall be. Listen what happened. Go ahead.
For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
So he's talking about Noah. Prior to Noah finishing the ark, people was just doing what they want to do, even though they saw Noah building the ark, right? Go ahead.
And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So what happened to these people in Noah's time? the flood took them away. So what happened to them? They were killed. The one them that was taken was killed, right? Noah was left. Noah and his family was left. The others were taken. So taken means what? They were killed, right? Go ahead.
Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left.
So now these people in the field, the one that is taken, what happened to them? They was killed. The one that was taken was killed, and the other one was left. So people saying that that is the rapture. No, the one that was taken was killed. That's why he gave the example of the ark and Noah, right? Go ahead.
Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left.
Mhm.
Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come.
Mhm.
But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched
Mhm.
and would not have suffered his house to be broken up.
Exactly. If you know somebody coming at 5 o'clock to break in your house, you're going to be waiting for him. You know? Go ahead.
Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh.
So you always have to be prepared. Don't be caught off guard, right? Don't be caught off guard. Always be prepared. That's why God didn't tell you when he's coming back. That's why the Bible don't tell you, because people will wait until up to the last minute to try to say, well, hey, this is when I'm going to give my life to Christ. No, it ain't gonna work that way. God said, come to me now that you are able. Let's go to Isaiah 11. We're going to read 1 to 12. Isaiah 11, 1 to 12. Isaiah 11, 1 to 12. When you get it, my sister's on you.
And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. Excuse me. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord.
So this branch is Christ. Go ahead.
And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears.
Go ahead.
But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth.
Mhm.
And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked.
Go ahead.
And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins.
Mhm.
The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid,
Mhm.
and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them.
So this is talking about the 1,000-year millennium reign when Christ come. This is the rod that is out of the root of Jesse that is coming back, right? Go ahead.
And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw with the ox.
Why? Because we're going back to pre-Adam, when all was eating the same food, right? Vegetables, herbs. Go ahead.
And the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den.
This is snake. Go ahead.
They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea.
Because at that time, during the millennium, there's not going to be no evil, no crime, no one that, no one getting killed, hurt over nonsense. No, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be peace, because that Sabbath is referred as the Sabbath. The 1,000-year millennium is referred to as the real Sabbath of Christ. That's when the rest breaker, Satan, is going to be locked away, right? Go ahead.
And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people.
Mhm.
To it shall the Gentiles seek,
Mhm.
and his rest shall be glorious.
And his rest, this is the talking about the Sabbath, which is the millennium reign. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which
Mhm.
shall be left from Assyria and from
Mhm.
Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea.
From the island of the sea is those that came over here to the Mediterranean side, to the Western Hemisphere, right? Go ahead.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
So he's going to gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Israel was scattered. Let's go to Isaiah 45. We're going to read just one verse. Verse 4. Who is God's elect? Go ahead.
For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me.
So who is the elect? Israel is God's elect. Let's go to Exodus 19, and we're going to read 4 to 6. Exodus 19, 4 to 6. Let's see if we can boom this up. Exodus 19, 4 to 6. Can you get it? You can go ahead. Exodus 19, 4 to 6. Daniel. Whoever talking, I can't hear you. If y'all talking.
Sorry, give me a quick second. Okay. Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and now I bear you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself.
Mhm.
Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For
Mhm.
all the earth is mine, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an
Mhm.
holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
So Israel is a kingdom of priests, right? Go ahead. No one else. He didn't give no one else that task, no one else that job. He only gave it to Israel. So now we have everybody and their grandmama out there calling themselves preachers. But he only gave it to one people. He only gave it to Israel. So how is that? Let's go to Psalms 147. We're going to read 19 and 20. Psalms 147, we're going to read 19 and 20. They say, out of two or more facts that God witness shall a fact be established. Go ahead.
Is it Psalms 1? Okay, never mind, got it.
Psalms 147, 19 and 20. Psalms 147, 19 and 20.
He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
So why they haven't known his judgment? Because he did not give it to them. They don't know his judgment. So that's why these people will come now and tell you, oh, that was given to the Jews. That was given to the Jews. That's for the Jews. So then why are you reading the book? If it's not for you, why are you reading the book? So they don't know God's judgment because the book was not written to them. The book was written for Israel, by Israel. So Israel now can turn around and teach it to the world. Not for the world to be teaching Israel, because that is upside down. It's just like you go to school and the teacher is sitting down in the seat and the student is up by the blackboard teaching. That's upside down. He gave the word to Israel. Israel is his priest, and it's their job to bring the rest of the world to them. That is part of the problem that we have in now. That's why Israel is serving other gods. That's part of the problem. Because Israel is listening to other people instead of doing what their God tell them. Romans 11, we're going to read 1 to 18 NLT. Romans 11, 1 to 18 NLT. You get it? You can go ahead. We're almost there. We got like three or four more. I'm sorry for the long lesson today. I wanted to get all of it in.
I ask, then, has God rejected his own people, the nation of Israel? Of course not. I myself am an Israelite, a descendant of Abraham, and a member of the tribe of Benjamin. No, God has not rejected his own people, whom he chose from the very beginning. Do you realize that the scriptures say what the scriptures say about this? Elijah the prophet complained to God about the people of Israel and said, Lord, they have killed your prophets and torn down your altars. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too.
So this is Paul, what everybody like. So I hope that you would believe Paul, because a lot of people will tell you, they try to tell you, when you try to tell them about Israel and this and that, they will tell you, oh, they killed their God. Yes, they did. And God rejected them. Yeah, but God did not get rid of his people. He can't get rid of his people. That's his people, right? But that doesn't mean that he's not going to chastise his people. Go ahead.
And do you remember God's reply? He said, no, I have 7,000 others who have never bowed down to Baal.
You hear that? He has 7. So even some of them who go against God, what he do? He will kill them. He will punish them. That's nothing. But he have others out there who is serving him, who is faithful to him. Right? Or the Israelites still that is faithful to him. Go ahead.
It is the same today for a few of the people of Israel have remained faithful because of God's grace. His undeserved kindness in choosing them. And since it is through God's kindness, then it is not by their good works. For in that case, God's grace would not be what it really is, free and undeserved. So this is the situation. Most of the people of Israel have not found the favor of God. They are looking for so earnestly. A few have, the ones God has chosen, but the hearts of the rest were hardened.
The ones God chosen to do his work, he chose them. The rest, their hearts were hardened. Go ahead.
As the scriptures say, God has put them into a deep sleep. To this day, he has shut their eyes so they do not see, and closed their ears so they do not hear.
That's the reason why we have that problem today too. Go ahead.
Likewise, David said, let their bountiful table become a snare, a trap that makes them think that all is well. Let their blessings cause them to stumble, and let them get what they deserve. Let their eyes go blind so they cannot see, and let their back bend forever. Did God's people stumble and fall beyond recovery? Of course not. They were disobedient, so God made salvation available to the Gentiles. But he wanted his own people to become jealous and claim it for themselves.
Just like how we make him jealous, he turn around and make us jealous. So now, are we jealous? Just look at them black Israelites on the street corners and tell me if they're not jealous. Go ahead.
Now, if the Gentiles were enriched because the people of Israel turned down God's offer of salvation, think how much greater a blessing the world will share when they finally accept it.
Go ahead.
I am saying all this especially for you Gentiles. God appointed me as apostle of the Gentiles. I stress this, for I want somehow to make the people of Israel jealous of what you Gentiles have, so I might save some of them.
So I might save some of them. Go ahead.
For since their rejection meant that God offered salvation to the rest of the world, their acceptance will be even more wonderful.
Go ahead.
Will be life for those who were dead. And since Abraham and the other patriarchs were holy, their descendants will also be holy, just as the entire batch of dough is holy because the portion given as an offering is holy. For
Mhm.
if the roots of the tree are holy, the branches will be too.
Right?
But for some of these branches from Abraham's tree, some of the people of Israel have been broken off. And
Mhm.
you Gentiles who were branches from a wild olive tree have been grafted in.
Mhm.
So now you also receive the blessing God has promised Abraham and his children, sharing in the rich nourishment from the root of God's special olive tree. But if you
Mhm.
must not brag, but you must not brag about being grafted in to replace the branches that were broken off. You are just a branch, not the root.
You are just a branch and not a root. So if you come in bragging, guess what's going to happen? He said, if God can break off his natural branches, think about what he can do for you to you. Let's go to Romans 3. We're going to read 1 to 4. Romans 3, 1 to 4. So God has not cast away his people. He still have people out there who is loyal. Romans 3, 1 to 4. Go ahead when you get it. NLT.
1 second. Let me get a MLT.
Is it
And
my
what?
turn? No?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Who is going?
Romans 1 to 4.
Romans 3, 1 to 4. Correct. NLT.
All right. Romans 3, 1 to 4. NLT. Oh, sorry, my stuff come off my head. 1 second.
Mhm. You're probably saying, come on for me, why?
All right. Then what's the advantage of being a Jew? Is there any value in the ceremony of circumcision? Yes, there are great benefits. First of all, the Jews were entrusted with the whole revelation of God.
The Jews was entrusted with what? The whole revelation of God. Go ahead.
True, some of them were unfaithful, but just because they were unfaithful, does that mean God will be unfaithful? Of course not. Even if everyone else is a liar, God is true, as the scriptures say about him. You will be proved right in what you say, and you will win your case in court.
That's it. So what advantage have the Jew? In much every way, because unto them were committed the answers of God. God talked through them, and they in return give it to the world. That's the way the protocol works. Let's go to Hosea 3. We're going to read 1 to 5. Hosea 3, 1 to 5. Hosea 3. I thought I took out this thing here.
Is this back to the King James?
Yeah. I thought I took out this verse here. The adulterous woman. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Hosea 3, 1 to 5.
Then said the Lord unto me, Go yet, love a woman beloved of a friend, yet an
Mhm.
adulteress, according to the love of the Lord toward the children of Israel, who took to other gods and loved flagons of wine.
So hear what God is telling you there? Go and take you an adulterous woman to yourself. Just like how you all doing me. Why don't you go and get a prostitute and see how it feels? Right? Go ahead.
So I brought her to me for 15 pieces of silver and for a homer of barley and a half homer of barley. And I said unto her, Thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee.
Mhm.
For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim.
Mhm.
Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days.
So many of us now today, where we are without a God. You know why? Because we decide that we want to go and prostitute. So God, you know what he do? He casts us aside. He casts us aside. We're going to go back to the NLT. We're going to go to Isaiah 50. We're going to read 1 and 2. Isaiah 50, 1 and 2, NLT. Isaiah chapter 50, verse 1 and verse 2. When you get it, it's on you.
This is what the Lord says. Was your mother sent away because I divorced her?
Mm-hmm.
Did I sell you as slaves to my creditors?
Mm-hmm.
No, you were sold because of your sins.
Wow.
And your mother was taken
Right.
because of your sins.
Mm-hmm. So he said, I didn't divorce you. You divorced me. And the reason why I got kicked out or got divorced is because I don't want to stop cheating. This is what the Lord said. Was your mother sent away because I divorced her? No, it's because of what she's doing. It's because of what Israel is doing to me. Go ahead.
Why was no one there when I came?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't anyone answer when I called? Is it because I have no power to rescue? No, that is not the reason. For I can speak to the sea and make it dry up. I can turn rivers into deserts covered with dying fish.
Mm-hmm.
I dress the skies in darkness, covering them with cloths of mourning.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, read it. Go ahead.
The sovereign Lord has given me his words of wisdom, so that I know how to comfort the weary. Morning by morning, he wakens me and opens my understanding to his will.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
The sovereign Lord has spoken to me, and I have listened. I have not rebelled or turned away.
Mm-hmm.
I
Go ahead.
offered my hand to those who beat me, and my cheeks to those who pulled out my beard.
Mm-hmm.
I did not hide my face from mockery and spitting.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sovereign Lord helps me, I will not be disgraced. Therefore, I have set my face like a stone, determined to do his will. And I know that I will not be put to shame. He who gives me justice is near. Who will dare to bring charges against me now? Where are my accusers? Let them appear. See, the sovereign Lord is on my side. Who will declare me guilty? All my enemies will be destroyed like old clothes that have been eaten by moths.
That's it. So the divorce, we are the one that divorced our God. He didn't divorce us. We are the one that put him away. And because we put him away, went behind other gods, that's why we in our predicament. So this on here, this is Adolf Hitler. Want to say something to read this?
Adolf Hitler is a German born April 20th, 1889 to April 30th, 1945. He was an Austrian-born German politician who was the dictator of Germany from 1933 to 1934 until his suicide in 1945.
So now, the people who call themselves the Jew, when you ask them what kind of atrocities they went through according to the Bible, this is the only thing they could come up with. You know that, right? What Hitler did to them. That's the only atrocity they can come up with. But the Bible says that God is dispersing us through the four corners of the earth. But the only thing that happened to these people is right there, according to them, is right there what Hitler did. What happened to the rest part of the earth? How come they can't come up with nothing else? That's because they can't, brothers and sisters. They can't. This book is not talking about them. It's not talking about them. It is talking about a people that is robbed and spoiled, that is hidden away in prison houses, that is on all the street corners like bulls in a net, that got dispersed through the four corners of the earth by means of slavery. This only happened to one people. Only one. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. We're going to read 63 to 68. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28 and we're going to finish it up by 63 to 68. Brothers and sisters, if y'all want, y'all can go through the whole book of Deuteronomy 28 so y'all can get the whole gist of it. We skip scriptures for the sake of time. Go ahead. Deuteronomy 28, 63 to 68.
And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoice over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Here we go, brothers and
Thou
sisters.
shalt serve other gods.
And we got plucked off of the land. We didn't migrate off of it. We can't say that's with these other people. We were plucked off the land, put in cargo ships, and were shipped to the four corners of the earth. Now we're serving, as the book says, wood and stone. Now, what is the wood? Christianity is the wood. We have a cross walking around in our necks. What is the stone? Muslim, Islam. That's why they have that square Kaaba that they go around when they do their Hajj or whatever, right? So he said we're going to be dispersed into the four corners of the earth, and now we're serving wood, which is Christianity, and stone, which is Islam. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among, okay, I read that. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Go ahead.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
So are we having any rest among these nations where we reside around? No, we don't get no rest. Anywhere you go, these nations is taking advantage of us. We are the only people that is going through this, brothers and sisters. No other nation is going through what we're going through among the nations that we are living amongst. Right? Go ahead.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear thee day and night. Thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
Go ahead.
In the morning thou shalt say, Would God were it even? Would God it were even, and at even thou shalt say, Would God it were morning?
So when the day come, you wish it was night, and when the night come, you wish it was morning. Right? Go ahead.
For the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see.
Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So, brothers and sisters, we are the one that came across those seas on slave cargo ships like livestock. And we were sold as female and male slaves. No one else can claim that. No one else. Let's go to Amos 9. And we're going to be 1 to 5 and 9 and 10. Amos 9, 1 to 5, 9 and 10. Amos chapter 9. You have two more after this. Amos chapter 9, 1 to 5, 9 and 10. You can go ahead.
I'm trying to.
Go.
He wants to try to get there.
Okay.
Okay. I saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and he said, Smite the lintel of the door, that the post may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered.
Mhm.
Though they dig into hell, then shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down.
Mhm.
And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out of thence.
Mhm.
And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them. And I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good.
This is judgment upon his people, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And the Lord God of hosts is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt. And all that dwell therein shall mourn, and it shall rise up wholly like a flood, and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt.
So this ain't Satan. This is Christ doing this. Go ahead.
9. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations,
You
like
will do
as
what?
like
You will
sift
sift
the house of Israel,
Israel among all nations. Go ahead.
like as corn is sifted in a seed, and yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
Go ahead.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old.
Mhm. So these brothers and sisters, God is not letting Israel get away with nothing. God is not letting Israel get away with nothing. So again, brothers and sisters, I ask, if we were the Gentiles, why aren't we treading down Jerusalem? Why don't we own the world? Why don't we own the media, the banks? Why do we have to go to everyone else that don't look like us for whatever we need? That's because, brothers and sisters, we are not the Gentiles. We are this people that is going through these atrocities that this Bible is talking about. We are those people. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy 7, and we're going to read 1 to 4, NLT. Deuteronomy 7, 1 to 4, NLT. And all of this, brothers and sisters, is for cheating on our Maker. That's what it's about. Refuse to stay loyal. 1 to 4. When you get it, it's on you.
When the Lord your God brings you into the land you are about to enter and occupy, he will clear away many nations ahead of you, the Hittites, Girgashites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. These 7 nations are greater and more numerous than you.
Mhm.
When the Lord your God hands these nations over to you, and you conquer them, you must completely destroy them. Make no treaties with them and show them no mercy.
Mhm.
You must not intermarry with them. Do not let your daughters and sons marry their sons and daughters, for they will lead your children away from me to worship other gods.
Mhm.
Then the anger of the Lord will burn against you, and he will quickly destroy you.
So hear that, brothers and sisters? That's the reason why he didn't want us intermingling with other people, other nations, because other nations never had a real God. They worship wood and stone. So we were the one that was entrusted with this word to bring the nations to him. So why would you go and intermingle with them knowing that they don't serve God? That's why God was preventing us from. And he said, when you do that, you start serving the God, then I'm going to be angry with you and I'm going to destroy you. Let's go to the last verse. Let's go to Deuteronomy 8, NLT. We're going to read verse 5 to verse 20. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 5 to verse 20. When you get it, my brother, it's on you.
Think about it. Just as a parent disciplines a child, the Lord your God disciplines you for your own good.
Hmm.
So obey the commands of the Lord your God by walking in his ways and fearing him. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land of flowing streams and pools of water, with fountains and springs that gush out in the valleys and hills.
Hmm.
It is a land of wheat and barley, of grapevines, fig trees, and pomegranates, of olive oil and honey. It is a land where food is plentiful and nothing is lacking. It is a land where iron is as common as stone, and copper is as abundant in the hill. When you have eaten your fill, be sure to praise the Lord your God for the good land he has given you. But that is the time to be careful. Beware that in your plenty you do not forget the Lord your God and disobey his commands, regulations, and decrees that I am giving you today.
Hmm.
For when you have become full and prosperous and have built fine homes to live in, and when your flocks and herds have become very large and your silver and gold have multiplied along with everything else, be careful.
Mhm.
Do not become proud at that time and forget the Lord your God who rescued you from slavery in the land of Egypt.
Hmm.
Do not forget that he led you to the great and terrifying wilderness, which with its poisonous snakes and scorpions, where it was so hot and dry. He gave you water from the rock.
Mhm.
He fed you with manna in the wilderness, a food unknown to your ancestors. He did this to humble you and test you for your own good.
Mhm.
He did all this so you would never say to yourself, I have achieved this wealth with my own strength and energy.
Uh-huh.
Remember the Lord your God. He is the one who gives you power to be successful in order to fulfill the covenant he confirmed to your ancestors with an oath.
Mhm.
But I assure you of this, if you ever forget the Lord your God and follow other gods, worshiping and bowing down to them, you will certainly be destroyed.
And he don't is not is nothing to be ashamed of. He don't care. He is telling us all the time, if you prostitute yourself, I am going to destroy you. I am jealous and I'm telling you so I don't have to kill you. Go ahead.
Just as the Lord has destroyed other nations in your path, you also will be destroyed if you refuse to obey the Lord your God.
Just like how we destroy other nations so you can pass, is the same way he will destroy you if you go cheating on him. He don't care. God don't want you cheating on him. He don't want you committing adultery. That's why he's so much against it, brothers and sisters. The reason why we are lost, the reason why we don't know who we are, the reason why we don't have no names, no God, no history, is because of prostitution. We are prostituting ourselves with every God under the sun. And it's for this reason why we are in our situation. And you think this is making us wake up? No, it is putting us deeper in the sleep. Wake up, brothers and sisters. It is time to come home. It is time to come back to our God, come back to our Maker, come back to our husband. It is time to come back home. Give up the prostitution and return home. We can read this, brother Damani.
All we have to do is read the Bible, keep it in context, and rightfully divide the word of truth, and it will reveal itself to us. God bless.
And it's that what it is, brothers and sisters. We thank you for listening. We thank you for giving us your ears. I know it was kind of lengthy, but brothers and sisters, it's important. And now that we are getting to the end of this time, it is very important to sit and listen to the word of God. We don't have no time to waste. Again, I'm sorry for the lengthy lesson, but again, what God put on my mind, put on our mind, that we bring forth. Again, we're Israel, the Lord's vineyard. My name is Brother Moses. We have Brother Damani, Sister Kelly, Sister Shanique. And we really, really thank you for joining us, for listening to us. We really thank you. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Brother Damani will close us out with a prayer before we turn loose.
It's a long one, so you want me to read it? You want me to read through it? You gonna
Yeah,
follow
read through
after
it.
me?
Read through it, and then I'll in the end, I'll thing. Read through it, and then in the end, we're gonna I just say in Jesus' name.
Okay. We're going to Isaiah 44.
Isaiah 44.
Okay, starting at verse 6.
Mhm.
Thus saith the Lord, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. I am the first, and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. And who, as I, shall call, and shall declare it, and set in it order for me, since I appointed the Asian people, and the things that are coming, and shall come, let them show unto them. Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from that time, and have declared it? Ye are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yea, there is no God. I know not any. They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. And they are their own witnesses. They see not, nor know, that they may be ashamed. Who hath formed a God, or molten a graven image, that is profitable for nothing? Behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed, and the workmen, they are of men. Let them all be gathered together, let them stand up, yet they shall fear, and they shall be ashamed. Verse 21. Remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed thee, thou art my servant. O Israel, thou shalt not be forgotten of me. 23. Sing, O ye heavens, for the Lord hath done it. Shout, ye lower parts of the earth. Break forth into singing, ye mountains, O forests, and every tree therein. For the Lord hath redeemed Jacob, and glorified himself in Israel.
Mhm. And we thank you, brothers and sisters. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So anybody have anything else to say? Anybody want to say anything before we close out?
God is great. That's it.
Yeah. All the time. And again, we thank you for joining us, brothers and sisters. We really thank you for your time. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we see you on the next go round.